The segment types and power-ups for Race 5 of ZRL on the Keith Hill Afterparty have been announced. Nothing too surprising really, both the segments are FTS and FAL, which effectively means that it becomes really a scratch race. 75% of the points are up for grabs on the hill, because there's finish points, FAL, FTS and podium bonus points, all on the Keith Hill climb. And the power-ups, you're going to get set power-ups at the banners. So at the first banner, 0.6 kilometers in, you'll get an aero power-up. Save that for the sprint. And the sprint begins at 14.9 kilometers, ends at 15.1, at which point you'll get a feather power-up. Now, you might want to keep that for the climb, but if you're getting dropped on the sprint, you might want to use it straight away, because there is a gradient leading up to Trafalgar Square. And yeah, if you're getting dropped, use your power up by all means, because you will get an aero power up at the lap banner at 29.3 kilometers, and that might be of use in the process of the climb, oddly enough. This is the first point where you might want to use your aero power-up. It's a long way to go. It's about 1.2 kilometres to go from the banner as we approach this turnabout point on Constitution Hill. But if you want to spark an early sprint or really make a go for it, then why not? People will lose the draft as they come around this that 180, and then, you know, if you can get away, you'll force people into a bind. Do they really want to chase from 1 kilometre to go? They probably will, but maybe that's what you want. If you've got sprinters, pure sprinters in your team, you might want to drag people out early. They can sit on the chase and then make a go for it at the sprint section. But most people will wait I would think at least to this turnaround point, and then go hell for leather all the way to the line. There's no point hanging back to try and get FTS points, because the fastest sprinters will be approaching the front at that point anyway, so you want to be in the fastest draft. Now, you'll pick up a feather power up at the banner, and if you're getting dropped, by all means use that feather power up, because there's a good gradient leading up to Trafalgar Square where having a feather active will be of benefit, and you will get an aero power up, which might be of use anyway for the climb, oddly enough. But if you're not with the group for the second half of the race, then you'll lose a load of draft, lose a loads of time, and you're going to be, pedaling on your own. If it's a choice between getting dropped or using your feather, then use your feather on the Piccadilly Rise, which comes between 28.0 and 28.8 kilometres. It's a step climb, but it does get a bit steep towards the top. Use your feather if you need to. If you need to use your feather to stay with the group, approaching the KOM, so this is on the lower slopes before the KOM proper starts, then use it here at 32.0 kilometres, where it gets to about 7%, and that should hopefully be enough to keep you with the group for the flatter bit, which is approaching. Get some draft, get some rest, and stay with the group. If you've got an aero and you need to catch on to a group, then I would say use it here, 33.4 kilometres, when the speed goes up. Eric's used his way too early here. There's no air resistance at that kind of speed. Wait till you're up till the -6 section, gather a bit of speed, use the aero, hopefully catch back onto a group, give yourself a little rest on the flat bit, and that's where you'll get the best bang for the buck for the aero. But if you're going for the win of your gruppetto, or even the race overall, then save it for the top. If you've got a feather, probably the most effective time to use it is this section here. There's a long section at 34.5 kilometres where the gradient stays above 10%, goes up to 12 for quite a time. So it might save you from a bit of the hellish pain that Eric seems to be enduring here, but it won't save you for it all. Just imagine the despondency on your opponent's faces if you unfurl a feather here, right at the top of the climb. Use that feather, get yourself a gap, crush their spirits, and take the win in your gruppetto or indeed the race. But if you've saved an aero, save it until the last, 200 metres. It is still a bit uppish, and it's going to be... if you've got a sprint, then yeah. If you still got a sprint at the top of that bloody climb, then good on you. Use your aero, take the win. I'm already sick of this race and I haven't even done it. The very best of luck to you on this extremely tough ZRL race.